Are you ready for another one? Let's just give it a few seconds. Then we're ready to start. Okay. So let me just get back into the game. Here we are. Get a little bit of water. Okay. Oh no, I forgot the thing. That was not the thing. That was the thing. Okay, so we're back home. If we have a home other than our ship anyways. I've been thinking a lot about it. I think a little bit too much maybe. So, this is, I guess, what I would consider home. So I found out that I haven't even done scans of the planet yet. So that's what we're going to do. And hopefully we could explore our home a little bit. Our home system. And also maybe we should go and check out the system where what's it called? Siamese. Yeah, maybe we should do that, but we're gonna start with home. Oh, we're totally gonna play with the level fighters today. It's gonna be so fun. I'm so happy I did all the work to get them. It's an incredible amount of work you have to do to upgrade your ship. Okay, so there was another thing. Livery. So this one shoots kind of pink. I don't want to change that. But this one, I guess it shoots maybe blue or white already. Maybe I can't change weapon detailing. Yeah, I can. Let's make this white. Engine. Oh. That's what I just said. Oh. I don't want to change this one with detailing. I want it to stay the pink color. That's so cool. I think this one is funny. Okay, so that was the only thing we have to do. Let's just make sure we have a crew with us. And this one, she's become an expert, and then she's going to become a master. That's amazing. Allied. That's perfect. I think I'm still Prince. Yeah. So I'm still Prince, which is cool and amazing. But if I do some missions, eventually I'm gonna probably become a king. Oh, that was the other thing. If we're gonna to visit Ailing or Aisling, that's so weird. I don't know what she's called. Anyway, but if we're gonna visit her where she lives, we should do that as well. Explore those two systems. So kind of the journey. I mean, after all this engineering, now we're finally ready to do exploring. That's gonna be fun and amazing. I haven't even scanned my home system. So many things I learned during the whole journey of engineering this ship. There's a lot of stuff going on here. Are there more things in this one? Or in this one? There are other things? Oh, that's close. When is it going to say system scan complete? Oh. Oh, look. There's something there. Okay, that's weird. Why can't I see a planetary map on this? Maybe I need to like put limits.
Surface scan by 50%. Surface scan complete. System scan complete.
System scan complete. That's good. Let's just see if that changes anything here. Wow, that's so weird. I mean, I just scanned this whole planet. So much for exploring the home system, huh? Anyways, doesn't seem like there's much fighting going on here either. Quite neutral. Sim, yes. Oh, that was the wrong one. Why can I see this? And this. Oops. Not this one. No, no statement or anything. Hmm. Outbreak.
The Dark Wheel.
Oh, they're out there, all right. I've never met them, but I know they're out there. Think about how well known the stories are. Now think about how easy it would be for some two-bit band of hucksters to pass themselves off as the Dark Wheel and start trading on their reputation. Doesn't happen, does it? Not for long, anyway. Whenever someone tries to usurp the Dark Wheel name, sooner or later they get quietly shut down. And that's how I know.
Felicity Farseer, Explorer. The Dark Wheel is the name given to a legendary group of adventurers, explorers, investigators, and treasure hunters, the existence of which is so lacking in corroborative evidence that it is generally considered a myth. The group is often mentioned in connection with the equally unsubstantiated Raxxla. Those who believe in the existence of the Dark Wheel consider it to be a continuous and clandestine organization, operating since the very earliest days of interstellar travel. According to the law, Only a handful of the bravest and most competent pilots of each generation are honored with an invitation to join the group. It is a futile attempt to contact the Dark Wheel on one's own initiative. However, it is always they who initiate contact, initially in disguise, revealing their true identity only once a suitable test of courage and skill has been discreetly administered and passed. Opposing theories assert that new members are selected on the basis of lineage, with existing members covertly training their children and revealing the fact of their membership only when the child is ready. Conversely, some members are believed to go to great lengths to prevent their children from ever becoming involved, since the group's secrets are dangerous. According to the self-professed Dark Wheel expert Lita Crane, a conspiracy theorist and people's journalist, who has painstakingly assembled an archive
Frameshift drive charging.
of relevant data, the original group
4, 3, 2, 1. Engage.
was based in a disused starport, orbiting the 8th moon of an unnamed gas giant. The station was a toroid, hence wheel, and operated with a minimal power output so as to avoid detection, hence dark. Crane believes that this starport is still in use, and is the only means whereby the genuine Dark Wheel can verify its identity. New inductees can examine the records and artifacts preserved there, and thus satisfy themselves that the group has indeed been operating for centuries. No such starport has ever been
Frameshift drive charging.
found, however, and rival experts have accused Crane of forging her evidence in order to maintain the revenue from her billions of followers. Over the years, many people have claimed to be members of the Dark
4, 3, 2,
Wheel, to have identified some or all of the group's members, or to have discovered the group's location. But the contradictory nature of these claims suggests that most of them, if not all, are untrue. In 3300, a group identifying itself as the Dark Wheel emerged in the Shinrata Desra system,
System scan complete.
which is not accessible to pilots of lower than elite
Frameshift drive charging.
rank. It is not apparent if the group is a legitimate descendant of the original Dark Wheel, a reconstruction, or merely an opportunistic imitator.
4, 3, 2, 1.
So the Dark Wheel, huh? I didn't even know about it. Oh, look at that guy. Bodie Marcus. Connolly. Get out of here, Bodie Marcus Connolly. Hernovaco.
Frameshift drive charging.
Fresh Katrash Kacharging. can't believe that guy didn't interdict us yet. Oh.
Under attack. Temperature critical. Under attack. Target shields offline. Temperature critical.
I'm not the target, Commander. Stop that.
Temperature critical. Target destroyed.
Oops.
Fighter docking sequence initiated.
Not bad. I wonder who I'm supposed to team up with here. Purple Republic Holdings. Or I mean Purple Public Holdings. This is so weird.
targets in this area, Commander. Could be dangerous.
Good to have you on the team, Commander.
Mayday, Commander. Taking fire. My hull is critical. Repeat, hull is critical. Fighter is down, Commander.
Target destroyed.
Good shooting, Commander.
We've got multiple hostiles here. Let's take them out one at a time. Multiple targets in this area, Commander. Could be dangerous.
Flight assist off. Flight assist on. Target destroyed.
Good shooting, Commander. Allied ship destroyed. Look alive, team.
Multiple targets in this area, Commander. Could be dangerous.
Target shields offline.
My hull is critical. Repeat, hull is critical. Fighter is down, Commander.
Flight escape initiated.
We've got multiple hostiles here. Let's take them out one at a time. Multiple targets in this area, Commander. Could be dangerous.
Frameshift drive charging. 4, 3, 2, 1. Engage. Frameshift drive charging. Four, three, two,
Whoa, I was just talking and I was muted. So I was just saying that it was interesting that we lost this one. I think that's the first time I've lost one of the conflict zones. So I just think that that was pretty interesting. And also pretty cool that even though I have so much engineering and my ship even, or my shields, they didn't even get through my shields. I mean ring 2 anyways. Even though all that we still didn't win. So I think that's pretty cool that you actually have to work for going through low intensity combat conflict zone. I'm pretty sure I have videos, no maybe not videos, but I'm pretty sure I have engaged a medium conflict zone. Maybe it was just a medium threat level. Anyways, I think that was so cool. And even my fighters got destroyed, so that's cool. I mean, that's definitely expected when you go to a conflict zone. It would be pretty... I mean, they don't get destroyed when I'm just at the nav beacon and I can focus on all the opponents or enemies. But when it's at a conflict zone where there's more targets than I can kind of control or anything, then they just explode. I mean, they don't have any hull or shield. What's this? 30 shield, and my ship has 4,600 shield, 4,700 I think, and they have 30 shields. So there's not really a big surprise. But now we need to go back and repair. Maybe we can see over here, go to ship, stats, shield. I don't have 100%. Oh, I still have a lot of shield. What does that mean? My shield health? Why is that so high when my shield's not fully up? I don't know. Maybe it's just full shield until it's down. That's pretty weird. But yeah, let's just get into the station, and then I'm gonna go and get some refreshments and take a short break. and I'll be right back.
Access permitted.
We've been live now, I think, for a little over 2 hours, so let's just go and stretch, and we're back for more. I'm still really impressed with the Guardian fighters. I just think that's so cool. Oh, we need to check why the Trident shoots white. I'm pretty sure yesterday when I was in it, when you're in it, it shoots pink. But today I think it shoots white. That was not on purpose for it to shoot have colored. I just want the standard pink thing. That looked so cool yesterday.
1,000 meters from touchdown.
2.
Landing gear deployed.
Nice with the landings.
Docking procedure complete. You may alight when ready. The Imperial Flight Operations Bureau wishes you a pleasant and productive visit, Commander.
So when I restock, does that mean that, yeah, I get fighters? That's so cool, man. So even at stations that's not Guardian Station or has a technology broker, you can buy new fighters, and it's Guardian fighters. That's cool. So they can fix it, but they can't sell it. That's amazing. I was pretty sure I was about to fly out and buy new fighters when I ran out, but hey, what do you know? Oh, the other thing. Let's check it out. Why was the plasma white? Weapon detailing. It doesn't have any weapon detailing. This one has weapon detailing. Oh, that's the same. Cool. Oh, anyways. Let's see if it's pink this time we got. Okay, so let's just take a short break. I really gotta go and do the thing. And we'll be right back for more stream. Be right back. Okay, stream. We're just about to be ready. So give me just like 2 minutes, maybe 3, and we'll be right back. And I don't know what we're gonna do, so maybe write something in the chat about what we should do. Otherwise, we're just gonna have to kind of wing it and figure out something fun to do. And okay, be right back. Wow, that was so stupid of me. I should have put this on. But I also want to hear this myself. Wow, biological. I found a system yesterday with biological. Lava. Lagrans. Wouldn't it be cool to see one of these? P-type anomalies. Q-type. Anomalies. $1,000 light years. Wow. That's pretty close. Wow, look at all these. Metallic crystals. I've seen these before. I've never seen brain trees. What? Are these green and these are pink? Pink green. Pink ones. Green ones. Purple ones. Blue ones. Oh, they're all different. Depending on what kind of brain you have. Okay, so we found an anomaly pretty close to us. Yeah, this was the one, the purple one. So what if we like in the center? Oh, okay, now I see. Oh no, that was the one we already know. P-type? Okay. But suppose... Maya! There's a black hole in Maya. I just came from there. We could go see these two things. The purple thing, and maybe then we could go and see this thing. It's a black hole. Think about it, stream. What do you want to do? Okay, I'll be right back.
The Empire. Introduction. What a piece of work is man, how noble in reason, how infinite in faculty, in form and moving, how express and admirable. In action, how like an angel, in apprehension, how like a god, the beauty of the world, the paragon of animals. Shakespeare, Hamlet.
When our ancestors departed Earth, they asked themselves, which of our achievements represents the best of humanity, that we may bring it with us to illumine the darkness? The Federation, embroiled in a world of contracts and petty bickering, chose their constitution. They placed their trust not in man himself, but in an imperfect work of man. But my ancestor, your first emperor, was wiser. He knew that the best achievement of humanity was humanity itself. There was more wisdom in a single nucleotide of his noble DNA than in all the Federation's written texts. That same wisdom still guides us now. We need no dusty documents to assert our right. We are human, born to rule. And the universe awaits the firm hand of our governance.
Emperor Trascan Duval II. Undelivered draft speech written immediately before his sudden and unexplained death. The Empire, while younger than the Federation, is easily the equal of its historic rival in terms of scale and resources. The key social distinction between the two powers is that slavery in the Empire is legal, a fact that has remained a source of controversy since its inception, both within the Empire and without. Some observers have pointed out, however, that conditions for those at the lowest levels of federal society are far worse than those experienced by imperial slaves. The popular image of the Empire is one of opulence, but while pomp and pageantry may be the norm in the core imperial systems, elsewhere in imperial space, one can find myriad examples of deprivation and squalor. Indeed, the empire encompasses many striking contrasts. Sophisticated technology exists alongside an ancient Roman system of government, and the affluence of the core worlds depends on often unregulated slave labor in the wretched outer colonies. Ruthless industrial efficiency and low taxation has made the empire rich and mighty. The hierarchy of imperial society is rigid, but a citizen can always rise through the ranks if he or she becomes wealthy enough and makes the right connections. Even a slave could, in theory, become a senator. The Empire. History. The Achenar colony was founded. In the mid-23rd century, wealthy entrepreneur Marlene Duval was so frustrated with the federal government that she founded an independent colony of her own in the Achenar system, chosen for its remoteness. When Marlene was killed shortly afterwards in a flyer accident, her brother Henson Duval took over as ruler. Henson Duval the Emperor. Duval immediately abolished the fledgling democracy that Marlene had set up, and in its place he established a system modelled on ancient Rome. He was now emperor, and his closest allies were his senators. Any colonists who might have objected were forced into silent compliance with Duval's vision. Such were his wealth and power. It was also widely believed that Marlene Duval, like Remus in ancient Rome, had been killed by her own brother. Nobody dared to speak out. The Mudlark extinction. The colonists were aware that the planet they had settled, Achenar 6D, had indigenous life, but at first it wasn't appreciated that this included a sentient species. Nicknamed the Mudlarks after they were observed digging through riverbank mud in search of food. Although the Mudlarks were at a pre-agricultural stage of development, they appear to have developed the beginnings of language. They also created crude forms in moulded clay, with no obvious practical purpose, possibly indicating a nascent artistic culture. The Mudlarks proved fatally vulnerable to the bacteria carried by the colonists, and within a few decades of the colony's founding, the species was extinct. Rumours subsequently emerged that Henson Duval had purposefully removed all traces of the Mudlarks, partly in fear of federal reprisal and partly to ensure that his development plans would not be hindered by ecological constraints. The Federation attempted to reclaim Achenar. When the federal government heard rumours that Duval's colony had recklessly caused the destruction of a sentient indigenous species, they decided on military intervention. The Imperial ships beat back the federal attackers, who were unable to establish a beachhead among the airless outer worlds, and struggled to maintain supply lines so far from Earth. The federal forces eventually fell back and entrenched in the Beta Hydri system. Skirmishes with Imperial ships continued for the next 50 years, but these were unable to prevent Duval from expanding the Empire to many other worlds. The Age of Expansion. After hostilities with the Federation ceased, the Empire entered a century of growth, annexing many new systems and persuading others to join. It spent the following 2 centuries consolidating its new territory, appointing colonial administrators from among the noble houses of Achenar. The Empire. Society. An ancient Roman model. The Empire works on a clean system. Society is divided into tiers: Emperor, senators, patrons, clients, and then citizens, with slaves below these. Groups of patrons pledge their support to a given senator, offering military service, tax revenue, and the right to wield the patron's votes in the Senate on their behalf. In return, the patrons are granted a measure of protection and material security, as well as having their interests represented in the Imperial Senate. Senators are responsible for deciding tax rates and welfare systems for their patrons. meaning that the lower a given senator's tax rates, the more patrons he is likely to attract. This is far from being a patron's only concern, however. Loyalty over time, ideological compatibility, family connections, and discreet private deals can all play a part in deciding which senator to back. The system extends downward through the tiers in a similar fashion, with clients pledging themselves to given patrons, and citizens pledging themselves to given clients. The votes held by the patrons actually comprise the total votes of all the clients pledged to them. Similarly, the votes held by those clients comprise the total votes of their pledged citizens. Patrons are therefore capable of investing variable degrees of power in their chosen senators, with the result that some senators are more powerful than others. Senators are responsible for those below them, meaning that everyone has a form of social security, at least in theory. Indeed, many senators take pride in the security they offer their citizens. Some have even been known to drain material wealth from small independent worlds and pump it back into the capital economy, allowing them to reduce citizens' taxes and giving their own popularity a considerable boost. Patrons are free to withdraw their patronage from their chosen senator, placing the onus on the senator to represent them satisfactorily or face a loss of voting power. Rigid stratification. The division between social classes is formal, unambiguous, and strict. But there is a clear path to advancement. A person can pay a fee and petition for admittance to the rank above. In this way, slaves can become citizens too. The law is not the same for all. Senators have a responsibility to enforce the law, and they must obey the emperor's decree, but are otherwise above the law. A senator can even carry out executions personally with little, if any, fear of consequence. The Empire, Culture and Values. The human body represents perfection. This belief, once held with near religious intensity, still forms the bedrock of the Empire's culture and morals. Genetic modification is frowned upon, but a degree of genetic correction is known to take place, supposedly to correct defects such as vulnerability to certain diseases. The belief in the sanctity of the human body originates with the first emperor, Henson de Val. While he did not claim to be literally descended from the gods in the manner of Roman emperors of old, he declared that his own image was the paradigm to which others ought to aspire. Households across the empire were required to display a statue or bust of the emperor in a place of honor. Imperial citizens are therefore expected to shun habits that corrupt or defile the human body, such as excessive indulgence in narcotics. The ownership of slaves, by contrast, is tolerated in the same way that the ownership of any beautiful work of art is tolerated. Mistreatment of slaves is thus akin to vandalism. Keeping one's own body in peak condition and adorning it with jewels and expensive clothes is not vanity, but duty. And owning well-treated slaves is also considered a sign of good character. The emperor's word
Dude,
is
this
supreme.
is crazily
The
interesting.
successor is decided by the Senate, although the de Val dynasty has such a strong power base that the imperial throne has only ever been occupied by members of that bloodline. For generations, genetic selection ensured that the emperor's heir would be male, and the current ruler, Arissa Lavinie de Val, is the first woman to hold the throne. Marlene de Val is sometimes described as the empire's first female ruler, but this is incorrect. The colony she founded was a democracy. Honor is everything. The value placed on honor is a constant throughout all tiers of imperial society. Honor can be lost through various means, including leaving debts unpaid, failing to respect a superior or provide for a dependent, breaking a solemn vow, conducting combat with cowardly weapons such as nerve gas, and defiling one's own body. Slavery is acceptable, but slaves must be well treated. In the empire, It is not uncommon for the poor and disenfranchised to sign up for a period of military service in exchange for a small sum of money. A similar logic applies to imperial slavery, to the extent that someone might sell themselves into slavery to clear a debt and restore their honor. Selling oneself into slavery is a straightforward legal process and results in a guaranteed sum of money for one's family, so it is a popular option for the desperate. In practice, however, many find that it takes much longer than expected to clear their debts. People are also forced into slavery against their will. Sometimes a senator will sentence a person of lower rank to be stripped of citizenship and designated as a slave, but it is more common to impose a fine of such magnitude that the citizen has no recourse but to sell his or herself into slavery. Slaves may also be taken prisoner following a conflict, abducted from their home, or even captured in a hijacking. While trading slaves is lawful everywhere in the Empire, except on Emerald, taking new slaves outside of wartime is illegal without the blessing of a senator. The Empire. Military. The Imperial Navy. Maintaining a modernized navy has always been a top priority for the Empire. The ever-present threat posed by the Federation has driven previous emperors to empty the coffers again and again, for fear of being outstripped in the arms race. More recently, funding has come from wealthy individual senators, many of whom are all too eager to gain influence within the navy. Indeed, it has been claimed that devastating planetary mining has been carried out in order to further this cause. The Fasisi system is arguably the most significant Imperial naval base. Many officers are housed on the world of Topaz, while Peter's Wreck is home to the training centers. As well as the battle fleets, the Imperial Navy maintains a subdivision dedicated to exploring the fringes of known space. The Emperor's Own. Genetic engineering is not officially tolerated in the Empire, but it does sometimes take place. One notable example is the Emperor's Own, a group of genetically engineered super soldiers deployed during the shock invasion of Mansfield Colony in the Leadler system in 2959. They proved brutally efficient, overrunning the Federal defenses in a mere 2 hours and inflicting a rare defeat upon a Federal Gurkha regiment. The Empire. Diplomatic relations. The Federation. Resentment of the Federation runs deep in the Empire. The superpower is remembered as an oppressive, interfering force that hypocritically avoids inflicting the slightest harm on non-human life, but thinks nothing of forcibly imposing its values on its fellow humans, and lacking the freedoms and social customs that the Empire values so dearly. While open hostility has frequently been the case in the past, the current situation is one of grudging coexistence beneath which mistrust simmers. Despite this antipathy, the Empire cooperated with the Federation in a series of joint initiatives against the Thargoids in the early 3300s. The Alliance. When the Alliance was founded in 3230, following a bitter conflict with the Empire and the Federation, multiple systems defected to it from both superpowers. To the surprise of many, the Empire took very little further retributive action, partly because of the ill health of the Emperor of the time, and partly due to a belief that the defecting systems would return to their natural home, sooner or later. The Empire's current attitude to the Alliance is one of studied contempt. To recognize it as a threat would be too much like showing respect. Internal politics. Unsurprisingly for a society so concerned with rank and influence, the Empire contains a multitude of feuding power blocks. In particular, there is a good deal of bad blood between the various noble houses, whose values range from hardcore traditionalist to staunch reformist. The Imperial Senate is no longer as overshadowed by the Emperor as it once was, and has gained sufficient strength to act as a counterbalance to the Emperor's political will. The individual character of the Emperor still determines the Empire's overall direction, however, and the suggestion that the Empire should evolve out of its old ways has proven deeply divisive. Individuals. Aisling Duval.
My grandfather had an heirloom
So that's her
based
name,
atop our
Aisling.
Winter Palace.
Okay.
It was a priceless marble statuette of one of our ancestors standing with his foot on a woman's neck, while she looks up at him in fear or adoration, probably both. I loathed it. It was commissioned to commemorate some victory or other, but that wasn't the point of the thing. The message was clear, and it's the same one I've heard all my life. Deep down, the people we dominate are happy to be dominated. When I was 6 years old, I smashed it. The servants came running. My father stormed down the stairs in his gown. He asked if it was an accident. There was such a strange look in his eyes. I knew that if I said yes, nobody would argue. Nothing more would be said. But I didn't. I stamped my foot and said, "No, Daddy. I did it on purpose." It's the same with tradition. The people who pass it on think it's precious. They expect you to cherish it and pass it on in turn. But what they think doesn't matter, because the responsibility rests with you. If you know it's wrong, then you have to smash it. On purpose.
Aisling Duval. A fireside chat with Serena, 3301. Princess Aisling Duval, born in 3276, is a prominent member of the imperial royal family. The eldest child of the infamous Prince Harold, she had a troubled upbringing. Her father was notorious for his hedonistic lifestyle, while her mother, entertainer Imogen Eccentrica Gabriellini, died from an aneurysm shortly after Aisling's birth. The autopsy identified the cause of death as an overdose of purple sunflake, an obscure and expensive narcotic, but conspiracy theorists insisted that she was murdered to remove an embarrassment to the royal family. Aisling has indicated that she is aware of these rumors, but has never commented on them. Despite living a life of great privilege, Aisling has publicly embraced the cause of the less fortunate and become an outspoken opponent of slavery, something that has made her the target of fierce criticism from more traditionalist imperials. But despite this criticism, Aisling is a popular figure with a widespread media presence. Her campaigning has brought definite benefits to many of the poorest in imperial society, and gone some way towards easing tensions between the Empire and the Federation. Her critics, however, dismiss her as a puppet, doing the bidding of a shadowy circle of advisors. They claim there is no underlying coherence to Aisling's policies. To them, she is a naive and sentimental child, without the necessary experience for politics, backing one populist cause after another, always conscious of how her activism is affecting her brand. Significantly, the most savage of Aisling's critics and the staunchest of her defenders agree on a counterpoint to this, that her apparent vacuity is nothing but a front, carefully created in collusion with the very advisors whom others believe are exploiting her. The People's Princess, they argue, is exceptionally good at being underestimated. Following the death of Hengist Duval in 3301, Aisling was considered by many to be a viable contender for the imperial throne. As Aisling was born out of wedlock, however, and her father was removed from the line of succession on the grounds of mental incapacity, Arissa Lavinie Duval was deemed to have the stronger claim.
Maybe our princess is a little bit crazy. What was it I was looking for anyways? I was looking for something. Oh yeah, the whole, oh yeah, I remember. What was it? We were in. Okay, we know all of these because we've just been to all these. Except that one. Maybe we should go and check that out, what that is. Colonia. Rexla. I don't even know what this is. Oh no.
Raxla, to the jewel that burns on the brow of the Mother of Galaxies, to the Whisperer in Witch Space, the Siren of the deepest void, the parent's grief, the lover's woe, and the yearning of our vagabond hearts. To Raxla, alleged toast of the Dark Wheel. The legend of Raxla has been circulating, in whispers, for centuries. The quest for this mysterious place, the location of which is a deadly secret, was said to be the principal aim of the Dark Wheel. a putative fraternity of legend chasers from the early days of interstellar travel. The earliest recorded mention of Raxxla dates from 2296, from the Journal of Art Tornqvist, a shipboard mechanic based in the Tau Ceti system. He writes, "Cora comes home, soused and raving with wild stories, a new one every night. She claims she's found a map to some pirate stash, and all I have to do is loan her my ship so we can go dig it up. Maybe we should go find Raxxla while we're at it." Although Tornqvist's account is the first known attestation of Raxxla, it is clear from context that the myth was already in circulation. It is extremely difficult to find consistency among the various fragmentary rumors of Raxxla. Much like the ancient myths of Atlantis, El Dorado, and the kingdom of Prester John, interpretations of the story range from the skeptical to the outlandish. Raxxla has been suggested to be anything from an unremarkable moon to a state of cosmic enlightenment. The earliest documented stories tend to agree on several points, however: that Raxxla is a definite place and that it holds a mystical secret. Several versions of the Raxxla story mention an alien artifact, the Omphilus Rift, described as a gateway or tunnel through which parallel universes can be accessed. These details, however, were later shown to bear a striking resemblance to the children's story, Princess Astrophel and the Spiraling Stars, and soon lost credibility. Undaunted, some Raxxla seekers insisted that the story's author had cunningly concealed facts about the mysterious locale in his book, as hints for those with eyes to see. Students of Raxxla lore have noted that the legend exerts a strangely potent fascination on the minds of seekers. Commentators have compared this sensation to Fernway, the uncountable longing for a place one has never seen. More than one interstellar treasure seeker has become obsessed with Raxxla to the exclusion of all other dreams, and spent his or her entire life in a futile search for it. Raxxla also plays a role in several conspiracy theories, most of which attest that it has already been discovered by some kind of sinister cabal or sole tyrant, which has leveraged its power to establish covert dominance over humanity. Whatever the truth of the matter, one thing remains irrefutable: the legend of Raxxla continues to inspire explorers and conspiracy theorists to this day. The Dark Wheel.
Oh, they're out there, all right. I've never met them, but I know they're out there. Think about how well known the stories are. Now think about how easy it would be for some two-bit band of hucksters to pass themselves off as the Dark Wheel and start trading on their reputation.
What is all this
Doesn't
about,
it?
guys?
Not for long, anyway. Whenever someone tries to usurp the Dark Wheel name, sooner or later they get quietly shut down. And that's how I know.
Felicity Farseer, Explorer. The Dark Wheel is the name given to a legendary group of adventurers, explorers, investigators, and treasure hunters, the existence of which is so lacking in corroborative evidence that it is generally considered a myth. The group is often mentioned in connection with the equally unsubstantiated Raxxla. Those who believe in the existence of the Dark Wheel consider it to be a continuous and clandestine organization, operating since the very earliest days of interstellar travel. According to the law, only a handful of the bravest and most competent pilots of each generation are honored with an invitation to join the group. It is a futile attempt to contact the Dark Wheel on one's own initiative. However, it is always they who initiate contact, initially in disguise, revealing their true identity only once a suitable test of courage and skill has been discreetly administered and passed. Opposing theories assert that new members are selected on the basis of lineage, with existing members covertly training their children and revealing the fact of their membership only when the child is ready. Conversely, some members are believed to go to great lengths to prevent their children from ever becoming involved, since the group's secrets are dangerous. According to the self-professed Dark Wheel expert Lita Crane, a conspiracy theorist and people's journalist who has painstakingly assembled an archive of relevant data, the original group was based in a disused starport, orbiting the 8th moon of an unnamed gas giant. The station was a toroid, hence wheel, and operated with a minimal power output so as to avoid detection, hence dark. Crane believes that this starport is still in use and is the only means whereby the genuine Dark Wheel can verify its identity. New inductees can examine the records and artifacts preserved there, and thus satisfy themselves that the group has indeed been operating for centuries. No such starport has ever been found, however, and rival experts have accused Crane of forging her evidence in order to maintain the revenue from her billions of followers. Over the years, many people have claimed to be members of the Dark Wheel, to have identified some or all of the group's members, or to have discovered the group's location. But the contradictory nature of these claims suggests that most of them, if not all, are untrue. In 3300, a group identifying itself as the Dark Wheel emerged in the Shinrata Desra system, which is not accessible to pilots of lower than elite rank. It is not apparent if the group is a legitimate descendant of the original Dark Wheel, a reconstruction, or merely an opportunistic imitator.
Oh, dude, I was muted. That was not good. I've been talking about what we should do. So, apparently this dark wheel thing has a minor faction as the Shinrada system, which if you are an elite in any of the categories, you have access to. And it seems like I have access to it. And it's like a secretive thing where I think that we would be contacted if we did some missions for the minor faction. So that could be like really interesting to do. Gain access to this dark wheel thing. That would be interesting. I think we should maybe try that. What do you think, guys? Should we go for the black wheel, or should we go for the black wheel and maybe do some missions for this faction thing to see if we can like get into the conspiracy of the black wheel? Or should we check this out? The thing I just forgot, which is this anomaly. I don't think it does anything. It's just an anomaly. It could be that it's far away. No, it's not so far away. I wonder what we should do. I mean, we could go explore, or we could go and try and get into some conspiracy theory. And what I'm talking about there, I'm talking about something I just learned now. This.
The Dark Wheel.
Oh, they're out there, all right. I've never met them, but I know they're out there.
I think we should do this.
How well known the stories are. Now think about how easy it would be for some two-bit band of hucksters to pass themselves off as the Dark Wheel and start trading on their reputation. Doesn't happen.
Because it's also related to
Nothing
this.
wrong anyway. Whenever someone tries to
Rexland.
usurp the Dark Wheel name, sooner or later they get quietly shut down. And that's how I know.
Felicity Farseer, Explorer. The Dark Wheel is the name given to a legendary group of adventurers, explorers, investigators, and treasure hunters, the existence of which is so lacking in corroborative evidence that it
Oh,
is
we just heard all
generally
of this
considered a myth.
about the Dark Wheel.
The group is often mentioned in connection with the equally unsubstantiated Raxxla. Those who believe in the existence of the Dark Wheel consider it to be a continuous and clandestine organization, operating since the very earliest days of interstellar travel. According to the law, only a handful of the bravest and most competent pilots of each generation are honored with an invitation to join the group. It is a futile attempt to contact the Dark Wheel on one's own initiative. However, it is always they who initiate contact, initially in disguise, revealing their true identity only once a suitable test of courage and skill has been discreetly administered and passed. Opposing theories assert that new members are selected on the basis of lineage, with existing members covertly training their children and revealing the fact of their membership only when the child is ready. Conversely, some members are believed to go to great lengths to prevent their children from ever becoming involved, since the group's secrets are dangerous. According to the self-professed Dark Wheel expert Lita Crane, a conspiracy theorist and people's journalist who has painstakingly assembled an archive of relevant data, the original group was based in a disused starport, orbiting the 8th moon of an unnamed gas giant. The station was a tool
Let's go there.
wheel and operated with a minimal power output so as to avoid detection, hence dark. Crane believes that this starport is still in use and is the only means whereby the genuine Dark Wheel can verify its identity.
Landing coupler disengaged. Please exit station safely and promptly.
New inductees authorities can examine the records and artifacts preserved there, and thus satisfy themselves that the group has indeed been operating for centuries. No such starport has ever been found, however, and rival experts have accused of forging her evidence in order to maintain the revenue from her billions of followers. Over the years, many people have claimed to be members of the Dark Wheel, to have identified some or all of the group's members, or to have discovered the group's location. But the contradictory nature of these claims suggests that most of them, if not all, are untrue. In 3300, a group identifying itself as the Dark Wheel emerged in the Shinrata Desra system, which is not accessible to pilots of lower rank. It is not apparent if the group is a legitimate descendant of the original Dark Wheel, a reconstruction, or merely an opportunistic imitator.
You are now clear of the station. Thank you, Commander. Have a splendid journey.
We definitely need to investigate what this Dark Wheel is all about. Dark Wheel, man. Can you believe they've been around ever since space travel started?
Disengaged. Frameshift drive charging.
let's just do a little bit of fuel scooping while we're here. I mean, I think we can make it though. So we probably don't have to scoop too much.
Warning. Temperature critical. Fuel scoop disengaged. Frameshift drive charging. Fuel scoop disengaged. Frameshift drive charging.
So this is gonna be the Pilot Federation's system. I like that. That was nice.
Programming limpet drill. Programming limpet drill.
Kutamaya, Sierra, India, 0. We are happy to have you, Commander. Please note that all station services are at your disposal. Request approved. Clear to land at Docking Bay 17.
Scan detected.
Attention, Commander. You need to reduce your speed. Meters from touchdown.
Landing gear deployed.
Ship is on the way. Flight crew dispatched. You are most welcome, Commander.
Oh, dude, they got Guardian stuff here. I wonder why there's no power contact here. Could be interesting maybe to... I mean, this is a Federation superpower, right? So what if we push this power up? So that would maybe become a little bit of war. So they would take over. So the Federation is no longer in control. That would be cool. We could easily do some missions. But I suppose they do have crazy good outfitting here. They're supposed to have everything, I think. Maybe this should be our home station. Jameson Memorial. Isn't that like a real thing? Jameson Memorial. So, if they have everything, they would just have everything, right? Experimental. Why is it that this one does 1,045% more damage? Pretty decent range. It does more damage than my engineered one. What else do they have? Advanced? Okay, so it's fixed. Oh, okay, so wait a minute. I need to pick this multi-cannon. Yeah, okay. I don't understand. What kind of ammo is it that it's using? Specialized ammo. It's the same damage for these. I suppose it would be cool to maybe change the two cannons I have under the plane to maybe fixed or gimbaled. Then I could shoot them. What would gimbal be? Fixed. Okay, so fixed, that's too much of a problem actually. Okay. They definitely have some stuff. Wonder what they have here. Okay. So I don't know what we should do. Maybe we should actually do that thing where we do some missions for these guys. That could be cool, man, don't you think? High-tech commodities. So what if I sell some of these? Sounds like it's working. Let's hope it works. Let's just exit and go back in to see if that changes. I could see that it didn't register and update my stats. I'm pretty sure we're on. Oh wow. Friendly. Pilots Federation local branch. That's none of these guys. Pilot Federation local branch. I'm friendly with them anyways. Isn't it weird that I'm a friendly with these guys, but I'm not a friendly really? she's got a little look on her eyes. That's super weird to me. It has all the planes. This is a perfect place to call home station. It's just so weird with the friendly, not friendly thing. I think I'm gonna have to find out more about that, and then I'm probably going to boost these up. But for now, stream. I gotta go and take a short break, and I'll be right back.
Corporations. Gutermeyer. Effortless elegance. Ship manufacturer Gutermeyer enjoys a supply agreement with the Empire, similar to that between Core Dynamics and the Federation. Gutermeyer is a far younger company, however, and was in fact created by the Empire. The company's ships are considered to embody imperial opulence and are instantly recognizable for their sleek contours and distinctive silhouettes. Imperial Gutermeyer was chartered by Emperor Galen Traskin de Waal in 3000 as part of a formal celebration of the millennium, in line with the Emperor's vision of an imperial renaissance in art, design, and architecture. The company's remit, overseen by shipwrights Jordan Blakestow and sculptor Amita Gutermeyer, was to produce a line of ships that will combine functional excellence with a distinct visual style. These would be offered for a limited period to select members of imperial noble houses as a mark of the emperor's favor. Amita Gutermeyer's involvement was immediately apparent, her reputation having been established through well-regarded public artworks incorporating graceful, contoured forms. This helped to drive public demand for the ships, which became sought-after status symbols. Demand was so high that owners were forced to hire squadrons of mercenary escorts to prevent hijack. The Emperor promptly ordered Imperial Gutermeyer to go into full-time production and to make part of its range available for general purchase. From its inception, Gutermeyer has employed a coterie of accomplished imperial artisans to ensure that their ships continue to reflect Amita Gutermeyer's aesthetic principles. When, in 3006, Amita Gutermeyer died in unexplained circumstances, she was interred in the Gutermeyer family crypt on Achenar 6B. Corporations. the Sirius Corporation. Powering the galaxy. Of all the mega corporations to dominate civilized space, none compare to the wealth and influence of the Sirius Corporation. The rise of the Sirius Corporation began in 2339, when the organization launched a corporate colonization mission, the first of its kind, to the Sirius system. From there, the corporation went on to become the lead supplier of fuel and technologies to both the Empire and the Federation, catapulting it to powerhouse status. The corporation's promise not to favor either side in the event of conflict helped to cement its position. As the corporation grew, fuel supply and drive manufacture remained its core business, although judicious expansion into other markets supported its expansion. But the corporation's ascendance has not been without complication. In 3251, it introduced a technologically revolutionary passenger liner called the Antares, which it hoped would usher in a new age in interplanetary travel. Unfortunately, however, the ship disappeared during its maiden voyage. It was speculated that a failure in the ship's internal containment systems had destroyed the vessel, but it was not until 3302 that wreckage from the ship was recovered, and this hypothesis proved correct. The Antares incident cast a long shadow, stalling the Sirius Corporation's plans to develop further superfast liners. But 3278 saw a reversal of fortune with the introduction of a new, faster drive system. The success of this new system more than made up for the losses that followed the Antares incident, propelling the organization to new heights. Today, the corporation has multiple divisions, many of them giant conglomerates themselves, but its primary focus remains the manufacture of fusion reactors, hyperdrives, and hyperdrive fuels. This division still operates under the banner of the Sirius Corporation, although technically it is conducted by Sirius Hyperdrives, with the parent corporation acting as a holding company. The company's mining, industrial, and power divisions are probably its largest. The Thargoids. Human Thargoid contact. The Thargoids are a non-human race with a history of hostility towards humanity. The first recorded encounter with a Thargoid ship took place in 2849, although earlier undocumented encounters are believed to have taken place. In the years that followed, contact with lone Thargoid vessels was intermittently reported. Humanity clashed with the Thargoids in the 32nd century, but details of the conflict remained scarce for many years, and it proved difficult to differentiate authentic accounts of Thargoid encounters from the sensationalist media stories of the time. The discovery of abandoned intergalactic Naval Reserve arm bases in 3303 did much to dispel the fog, however. The INRA, a joint federal imperial initiative established in 3193, was responsible for researching the Thargoids and developing technologies to counter their aggression. But the organization's lack of accountability meant that the details of its research did not come to light until years after its dissolution. Almost all of the reliable data concerning the Thargoids has been sourced from INRA facilities. This data, originally deemed highly confidential, was declassified in 3304, following a resolution from the federal government and an imperial decree. Some controversy over the backing and funding of the INRA remains, however. The Thargoids. Vulnerabilities. In 3151, the INRA developed a biological weapon known as the mycoid virus for use against the Thargoids. The virus was the result of an accidental discovery made by an INRA researcher, who noted that a particular strain of fungus was found to thrive on the hulls of Thargoid vessels, and appeared to be digesting the material of which the ship was made. The INRA refined the fungal strain and began experimenting on living Thargoids in their spacecraft. The mycoid proved to have deleterious effects on both, leading to the swift elimination of the Thargoids active in human-occupied space at the time. It is widely assumed that since the last human-Thargoid conflict, the Thargoids have developed an immunity to the mycoid virus. The Thargoids. Agenda. Thargoids do not attack indiscriminately, and their choice of targets shows them to be highly intelligent. They have also conducted targeted strikes on Aegis facilities and attacked pilots carrying Thargoid items in their cargo holds, indicating that they know they are being studied and want to halt the process. But despite their evident intelligence, they appear to be completely uninterested in meaningful communication. The engineer Ramtar, who has extensively researched the Guardians and their war with the Thargoids, holds the view that Thargoid aggression is a product of territorialism. They seed an area with barnacles, thus laying claim to it, and return, sometimes many centuries later, to harvest the extracted resources. Any life form advanced enough to compete with them for the territory is treated as an enemy and summarily attacked. Professor Palin concurs with this view, adding that the Thargoids are apparently so determined to eliminate any threats to their long-term survival, they will not tolerate any advanced species in close proximity. The Thargoids. War with the Guardians. Archaeological records have revealed that the extinct, non-human civilization known as the Guardians experienced conflict with the Thargoids many thousands of years ago. Logs recovered from Guardian sites indicate that the Thargoids were the aggressor in this conflict. Having seeded Guardian space with biomechanical constructs used for resource extraction long before the emergence of the Guardian civilization, the Thargoids apparently believed they were entitled to uncontested dominion of the territory. The Guardians attempted to communicate with the Thargoids and reach a compromise, but without success. Over the course of the conflict, the Guardians developed new technologies to give them an advantage against the Thargoids. These technologies were apparently successful, forcing the Thargoids to abandon their offensive.